Hello everyone, and welcome to the first webinar from the CoDEMO project. Before we start, I want just to give you a brief overview on the functionalities that you can use to interact with us today. Please make use of the chat. We encourage you to ask questions and interact with all the presenters. So you can either write your question in the chat and we will answer it at the end, or you can unmute yourself after all the presentations and ask the question by yourself. Please note that this webinar is also being recorded, and the recording will be available on the project website shortly after we finish today. You can also make use of the reactions button in Zoom if you want to give a quick update, feedback to the presenter. I think that's it from my side, and I would like to hand over to our colleague Elena, and she will introduce you to today's agenda.
Thank you so much, Lulia. So, hello everyone. Thank you for being here for this webinar. We are in the office of the Institute of Mines Santé in France. The webinar is titled How to Address 5.0 Transition, the European CoDEMO Innovation Approach. The webinar is part of the European CoDEMO project, which means co-creative decision makers for 5.0 organizations. We organize this webinar, Xavier Boucher and myself. Xavier Boucher is a professor in industrial management and project coordinator. And me, Elena Elias, I am a research engineer in psychology and user experience. Today, we will discuss 3 points of view on 5.0 in 3 different sectors: the industrial, healthcare, and agri-food. Our partner which each present their vision. Here is progress of the webinar and introduction to 5.0 field, and CoDEMO activities present by Xavier Boucher, and the 4 presentation by our partner in this project. Now, Xavier Boucher represents the project.
So nice to meet everybody today. So yes, starting by presenting a bit CoDEMO project and logic. So it's Innovation Alliance Erasmus Plus project, just started very recently, and we have 2 main tasks. The first one is to implement national network of innovation, and what we address in fact is to develop European capabilities of innovation. So this network of innovation created in 6 countries will be dedicated to 5.0 value co-creation. The second key task is also to develop skills at the European level on 5.0 organizations and decision making. And for that, we are going to create notably a dedicated and specific certifications that will be implemented in 6 universities and also in vocational training actors. Next. So if we want to have a short look at 5.0 to understand a bit more, so all of us know the 4 industrial revolutions, each linked to a technological advancement. The steam in the first revolution, scientific division of labor and organization of work in the second one, the generalization of automation in the third revolution, and then cyber physical systems and IoT in the last digitalization period. But if we go today to 5.0 transition, well, perhaps it's a pass behind with regard to technology, in the sense that the idea today is not to go even one step further in technology development, but how do we address technology development? And so to shift and to change from a technological driven vision towards a societal oriented transition and way to manage industry and the overall society. So taking into consideration human centricity, resilience, and other topics. Next. Thank you. So yes, if we have a look at the recent definitions, because it's a very recent topic, all these definitions more or less underline the key points and key dimensions on 5.0 industry and society. Resilience, as we can see in the second definition, resilience with also a focus on sustainable production. That means the consideration on climate change issues and ecological issues, and well-being of workers. So also the human aspects. Next. So this underlines the three key dimensions that we try to integrate in 5.0 transition, which is somehow a systemic way of thinking for the industry. So the way to implement digitalization, but not only looking at digital issues, looking also more systemically at our industries and organizations. So human centricity, that means that the machine become really a partner of humans and not in competition with human work. Resiliency, which embraces lots of aspects, including adaptation to changes, necessity, flexibility, and agility of the processes, the way to innovate collaboratively in open innovation, etc. And the last dimension, sustainability, with a focus on the circular economy and processes and the responsibility of companies in all the sustainable issues. Next. And finally, I would like also to underline a last dimension, which is a bit transversal to these three first dimensions, which is the collaboration and the necessity of collaborative network. That means that Europe and all countries consider that to come to a systemic transition 5.0, you need to enlarge the way to innovate through collaborative networks, including, of course, companies, universities, but also other actors, vocational training actors, like in CoDEMO, and involving perhaps the citizen even in the innovation process. So also a strong focus on value co-creation and the implication of collaborative processes in the transition. Next. So if we come to the project itself, well, very quickly, you have here the rationale of the project with three types of outputs. First one, above, learning-oriented outputs, is that we are going to develop skill-oriented and competence-oriented deliverables, like the creation of that unique European certification on organization decision makers for 5.0 transition, and the deployment of such certifications among a set of universities, companies, and actors with, at the end, around 500 persons trained and certified through our processes. Second type of output, above at the bottom, network-oriented outputs. This is the innovation dimension of the project, creating 5 laboratories at European levels for innovation, for value co-creation, and then activating them, so creating a set of case studies of innovation projects. And the last type of deliverable is a community of practice with a share of a lot of knowledge we are going to create on 5.0 in 3 sectors. So at the center of the diagram here, you find the 3 main experimentation sectors with which we are going to work. Next. We can, for the project, insist on two key points. The first one are these laboratories. So we rely on a specific innovation infrastructure, which is provided by our partner OMILAB at the European and international level. And around this infrastructure, we create a national network of socio-economic actors for innovation support. And we are going to use these laboratories for two main types of use. On the left, for what we call boosters, that means real innovation project with socio-economic actors. And on the right side, we use the same infrastructure and laboratory for student catalyzer. That means to develop the culture of innovation among vocational trainings and academic students also. Next. Second key point of the project is the certification. So above, perhaps you can suppress the bottom part. Okay, above you have a first vision of the structure of the certification with different areas of knowledge on which we are going to work, and transversal to all that, and innovation learning activity. So we put all the certifies in situation to develop the strong culture in 5.0, resilience, environments, and human factors integrations, and to develop innovation capabilities, both with design thinking approaches and more decision-making tools. And to implement the certification, well, we are going to deploy it towards two types of publics. One's on the right side are professionals with the contribution of vocational training institutions and which follow a specific curriculum for that certification. And we have the objective to train around 180 persons. And then on the left side, for academic students, in parallel to their current curriculum, they can do that additional certification. Thank you. And I think, yes, this is the way I wanted to introduce a bit our context for CoDEMO project. Thank you, Elena.
Thank you, Xavier, for this explication of CoDEMO project. Now, each partner will answer three questions during their presentation: opportunities related to 5.0 and CoDEMO, job transformation and competence change needs, and collaboration modes. We have a true presentation for the sector industry. The first presentation is with Valde Tension and Ali David.
Yes, hello everybody. Thank you, Elena. Hello everybody. My name is Valde Tension. I'm a researcher for the CoDEMO project, as you heard. I'm representing a part, or we are representing a part of the industrial and private sector of the consortium, more exactly the Marquardt Romania company. Just shortly about us, Marquardt is a global player with almost 1 century of experience in creating and developing mechatronic and electronic devices. We boast with a wide array of competencies in the engineering field. So as you can see, our global footprint covers almost all continents. And here from Sibiu, Romania, our main activity is the automotive sector. Next slide, please. Thank you. So this is our Marquardt CoDEMO team with the researchers and our project manager and our administrative colleague. If you are interested in contacting us, you can find our details on the social portals of the CoDEMO project. Next, please. All right, so answering the question of this webinar, right? For answering the question on how to address the 5.0 transition from the industrial point of view, we conducted an internal survey within our company with our colleagues, and we asked them what do they know and what do they expect from a 5.0 organization, and how much of their expectations are fulfilled right now. We asked them to rate this on a scale from 1 to 5, and this scale will be important for the upcoming data. Okay, the questions were grouped in 4 main pillars. Probably heard about them before: resilience-oriented, digital-oriented, green-oriented, and human-centered. Each of these pillars had a subsequent set of questions that define their goal. And what the data shows, interestingly enough, about 60% of the participants stated that they never heard about the 5.0 organization, and only about 30% of them said that they partially heard about it or researched about it. What's for sure is that all of them, so 100% of the participants, have a high expectation from a so-called 5.0 organization. And the data that we collected, meaning the scale from 1 to 5, for which we used to rate some categories, shows that there are several gaps or needs in the industrial sector that can be filled by the CoDEMO project. All right, these gaps will be visible in the upcoming slides. And once more, a higher mark here means a higher need for that specific pillar. As you can see, the four main categories are here. We see the greatest need is on the green-oriented pillar, and it's followed also closely by the human-centered category. Next, please. Thank you. So as I said, we have subsequent questions for each of the 4 main pillars. Here we see some needs or some expectations from the openness to innovation, visioning and strategic thinking, and also a very high demand of communication with AI domains on the right side of the slide. Next, please. All right, so here, following this trend, we have the last two pillars. These are also the pillars that were identified as the highest, with the highest needs, so to speak. So the green-oriented pillar, we have a quite constant gap value. Hence, this is the pillar which has the highest average need. And on the right side, we see 3 subcategories of the human-centered pillar that stand out: empathy and active listening, social emotional intelligence, and humans-focused leadership. Next, please. Okay, so this was the data, the raw data that we pulled from the survey. We have some first conclusions. We can safely state that organization 5.0 paradigm has to be intensively disseminated within the industrial sector. And even if this is a new approach and it's particularly unfamiliar, the industrial sector is shown openness to embrace the skill set needed for this change. Last but not least, next, please. Yeah. Last but not least, regarding our highest need or the pillar with the highest gap, the green-oriented category. We already have some actions in place. We identified some action points. So we have to improve the design and use of resource-efficient technologies, which are energy optimized for minimal environmental impact. We have to make sure implement a more circular process and the reuse of resources. And here maybe what will be interesting is to see how this can be implemented with the other CoDEMO partners again. We have to foster a more sustainable product design, so we minimize the waste. We have to nurture system thinking so that we are aware of the interconnections of the components, and overall increasing the environmental awareness and the impact of our day-to-day activities. And next, please. All right, so a short overview shortly about how we see some collaboration modes. We call this schematic the lifelong learning continuum, and this is a way. This is the way forward that we see it. Basically, it's composed of 2 layers of collaboration and communication between the professional world and the educational institutions. The short cycle represents a regular continuous communication between the 2 worlds, so to speak, where the students' needs and expectations are communicated to the professional world, and the future trends and challenges are communicated to the educational institutions, from the industry sector. The long cycle, which is on the bottom of the bottom of the framework, implies high-level information exchange, meaning communicating the educational curricula from the educational institution to the professional world, and coming back from the professional world to communicate to the educational institutions the current industry needs. And that's it for collaboration methods. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Vlad, for your presentation. Depending on your point of view in industry sector, we need to focus more on green-oriented and human-centered approaches. So according to your results, your employees want to be aware of a green approach. What actions do you plan to take to respond?
Yes, so we saw that the green orientation is the, let's say, the highest need that was identified. So although we have a strong environmental protection policy, it's clear that our survey participants see this category as a need, or at least as a focus point. We start addressing these needs with internal workshops on the management level first to detect some possible improvements. Here again, I would say maybe we need some an opportunity to have input from other CoDEMO partners. And at the same time, we already have the data that shows the exact gaps that we have to fill in, as we saw in the previous slides. Apart from this, not only green oriented, but we also want to focus on the human-centered need as well, because we saw that's the second most needed, I would say, needed feature for the 5.0 organization.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you also.
Now we have a presentation of Janusz Polowskis, which presents the sector industry 2.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
My name is Janusz Polowskis. I represent industrial cluster Evoluma, previously known as a metal processing cluster. Here you can see our executive team of the cluster, also with HR department, due to the subject of CoDEMO projects. We are one of the 20 key national clusters in Poland. We operate in mechanical engineering sector and manufacturing technology for collaboration with many industrial sectors. Our main activity as a cluster coordinator is providing specialized services for cluster members, support development and the effective competition on the domestic international markets, mostly in the area of the internationalization, human capital development, and the implementing 4.0 solution, and of course production optimization. The next please slide. And our point of view to how to be opportunity to participate in CoDEMO projects. As a cluster coordinator, we can build our offer and the cluster training portfolio, because we have the permanent upskilling program for our cluster members. So in the line of the newest and the latest European trends in the development of approach of 5.0 organization approach, we can define the key competences in the field of the effective leadership and then management in the area of the twin transition in our industrial sector. So we have a possibility to strengthen the competences and the role of our cluster coordinator or animator in providing specialized services. And finally, as a cluster, we have the possibility to develop and build cooperation networks in the European level between academia and the business sector, and of course to establish the cross-sectoral, to strengthen the cross-sectoral cooperation. The next slide, please. And which competences should be developed for the job and the transformation according to our experience with the day-to-day work with the companies and the survey. The very important is flexibility and adaptability for the changes in the strategic management related to the transition and very, very rapid development of the technology, adopting the open innovations approach, very multi-level competences related to build the digital data culture in company with the cybersecurity strategy in manufacturing enterprises. Of course, management, how to use digital technologies and tools related to optimization at the main basic production processes and of the auxiliary production processes. And especially it's very important in our mechanical engineering sector. This is ability to build cooperation networks or consortium in building competitive advantages based on the newest technologies and solutions, how to integrate this capacity, our technologies, to use these resources within our network. And very important in the latest years is the soft skills in the area of competences of the engineer staff in the manufacturing sector. And the next one, please, slide. And the area of the potential collaborating areas for our projects is, of course, to build, to participate in the projects related to the building of European value chains in mechanical engineering sector, in the relation with another sector, and to establish the cross-sectoral cooperation, of course, to involve R&D cooperation. We are very interested in joint training and workshops, in improving the competences of the leaders in the area of the adaptability, all new competences, and then the process of the changing enterprises in this area of twin transition, to establish and to elaborate new model of the internationalization of the cluster for us, like a cluster providers and our members, the permanent programs to improve the competences of the company's leaders, and of course to use the digital tools in the competence or skills development system to exchange such practice. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Janusz. Thank you for your presentation. You address the need to adapt to the evolution of technology and how jobs change as a result of this evolution. So what's the new skills will manager needs?
In my opinion, but I think this is the result of our experience in collaboration with our member company, is that, in fact, kind of key horizontal competences is the adaptability and the flexible approach to this rapidly changing reality and the transition, both in sphere and on the soft and the technical skills, the general opening to the new competences. If we have this competence of the adaptability, so the rest of the solutional competences is open for us. And another important competence is the critical thinking in the relation of multitude of the digital and the technology solution available on the market, because we have a lot of it. That's why this is a very important decision, what is the best for me. And of course, during the moment of the digital transition, there is the competence to adopt and to focus on the digitalization of the process and to put in on the development strategy of the companies, of course, with the orientation towards the green approach in the designing new products or services in our energy intensive sector. So, thank you.
Thank you so much. Now we have a presentation in the sector healthcare with Annette Bellet.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm Annette Bellet. I'm the director of the vocational training organism of AESIO Santé. AESIO Santé is a non-profit private company located in France. We have more than 200 healthcare units in 3 sectors: medico-social, establishment for dependent elderly people and for disabled people; sanitary, we have a surgical clinic and rehabilitation center; And the third, services with optical and dental center and pharmacies. 5,100 health professionals work every day for our company. So through this project, AESIO Santé aims to actively contribute to the transition of European companies to 5.0 operating modes. We promote greater professionalization through cutting-edge learning methods, such as blended learning, like face-to-face or off-site, and practical learning situations that reinforce skill and competencies. These trainings contribute to the organizational transition of the actors of the healthcare domain through the transformation of skill and competencies. And it's an opportunity because all the professions in our sectors are affected by the changes linked to digital technology. Next, please. So we are going to focus on two sectors, pharmacies and home services. First, pharmacies. So Group AESIO Santé's goal is to adapt pharmacies to the digital era in the healthcare. Against this backdrop of corporate transformation and skill development, we have 4 objectives have emerged. First, to encourage the professional role and contribute to public health missions, like vaccination, for example. Secondly, customer loyalty and development through relationship marketing. Third, to adapt to customers' digital habits, like click and collect or social media. And fourthly, anticipating tomorrow's market, who is accelerated by the consequences of the health crisis. That's for pharmacies. And for home services, that's 1,100 employees in 20 trades. Home care is a challenge for the public authorities. Culturally, the desire to stay at home is really strong, and demographic pressure on the dependent population means we have to adapt our services to the needs of the elderly and their caregivers. So we build a nursing home at home by promoting a holistic approach of the person at home, combining physical and digital services. Promoting quality of life at work is also one of our priorities to make our professions more attractive. The aim today is to develop actions to improve the quality of working life in home care services and make the profession more attractive. Our mission is to provide managers with the tools they need to improve working conditions, service quality, and organizational performance. We innovate. So innovation in our sector stimulates different forms of cooperation and partnership. We work closely with academics, researchers, students, laboratories, living lab, and our 5,100 employees, directors, and people on the ground.
So thank you, Annette, for your presentation. Your presentation emphasizes the importance of improving working conditions in both the pharmacy and home service sectors. What types of service for nursing home at home 5.0?
Our home sector home care sector must integrate 5.0 into its evolution. And we have already set up different tools like digital and telemedicine services. It's an assistance with administrative formalities. With delivery of products and services at home. We support for growing old wells, so with prevention workshops. And we work on living spaces that incorporate technology to promote safety, like smart beds or connected objects. And we are looking for a dynamic social life that places the individual at the center of social interactions. And of course, we considerate the family caregivers.
Thank you so much, Annette. Now you have a presentation in the sector agri-food with Alicia Garcia Reis.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alicia, and I'm a technician at FEDACOVA. First of all, I will introduce the Federation of Valencian Agri-Food Companies, founded in 1991 to represent the Valencian agri-food sector. We bring together 30 associations and more than 2,000 companies, which represent 70% of all business of the sector in the region. FEDACOVA's main aim is to defend the interests of the companies in the agri-food sector, and we assist them in different matters of quality and food safety, internationalization, innovation, legal, labor, and training, among others. Next slide, please. Regarding the opportunities related to 5.0 and CoDEMO project, on FEDACOVA's side will be a booster for the current training offer, adding new actions that will help keep live certain craft association sectors such as pottery, bakery, ice cream, and hazelnut confectionery. Expanding to the industrial sector, this training and accreditation offered by the project will allow the generational replacement and thus the perpetuation of those artisan crafts. These accreditations offered by CoDEMO will make opportunities visible for new vocational training students, but also self-employed people, which will help protect certain rural areas from extreme depopulation by promoting society development and bringing life to small towns. Next slide, please. Regarding the job transformation and competence changes and needs, the main needs in the agri-food sector include essentially skills in digital technologies such as robotics, artificial intelligence, or data science, putting emphasis on this last one, and also communication and collaboration skills. Next slide, please. These new technologies that I mentioned before can assist the artisan sectors in expanding their sales channels by discovering and accessing new markets, developing marketing strategies, optimizing sales channels, and data-driven decision-making. By embracing these advancements, partnership can overcome traditional limitations, expand its reach, and remain competitive in the evolving marketplace. Next slide, please. When it comes to collaboration modes, three main types can be highlighted, and these are public-private collaborations between public institutions, such as universities and research centers, and the private companies, and their objective is to take advantage of the resources and knowledges of both sectors to develop new technologies. Business-to-business collaborations between companies from different sectors in order to create synergies. And last but not least, collaboration between scientists from different disciplines such as biology, chemistry, economics, etc., which objective is to share knowledge and develop new technologies. Next slide, please. In FEDACOVA's case, any type of collaboration in innovative projects will be very welcome, since our main interest is the benefit of the agri-food companies, and that includes innovation. Which innovation are the projects to improve the skills of workers, digital projects, promotion projects such as international marketing, digital tools for internationalization, search for new markets, etc. And this will be made through the creation of consortium and partnerships that promote projects funded by, in this case, European, but also national or regional programs. Next slide, please.
Thank you, Alicia, for this point of view. So the technology will be a support in the craft sector to access new markets and promote sales. So I have two questions for you. The first question question, how do you see the evolution of craft professions? And second question, should new professions be created?
Well, regarding the evolution of craft professions, there are critical actions that are required to ensure not only the growth, but also the survival of craft sectors. The first one is enhancing professional accreditation by reducing administrative bureaucracy that hinders the qualification process, and also expanding the number of assessors for specific crafts. The second one would be fostering for collaborative decision-making by creating collaborative bodies comprising government and craft representatives. And last but not least, strengthening professional qualifications by designing intermediate vocational courses that offer a complete professional qualification, and also increasing the numbers, as I said before, of these training programs. And a very important thing to consider is that these programs have to be aligned with the national qualification system. Regarding new professions, we don't think that specifically new professions should be created. Rather than focusing on creating new professions, we think that the emphasis must be put on introducing new technologies within the craft sectors, so as to achieve professionalization and enhance their services.
Thank you so much, Alicia. What is the next step in the project? Xavier Boucher will present the program for the upcoming 3 years.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you to all our contributors. We had at the end a bit some sound problems, but I hope you could follow all the explanations. What is interesting also is to see that even if 5.0 transition is shared by these different activity sectors, each sector also highlights some specific points. So there is a specific appropriation and adaptation of that transition. So it's quite interesting to underline these aspects. So what are the next steps for us, and perhaps to share with you? Well, in the coming year, we are going to create a certification because we are just at the beginning of the project, and to launch also in parallel the networks of innovation that I mentioned. So with the first project starting just this year. Then in the next year, 24-25, we are going to implement and deploy the certification. So with the final objective along the project to certify around 500 persons. And of course, in parallel, we are going to develop the innovation project on 5.0 to create case studies that could be reusable, shared at the European level. And also with these case studies, creating new knowledge and understanding on how to innovate while respecting 5.0 orientations. And the last year is an extension of our result, and the publication also, the share of all these results on our platform. So you have here the reminder of our platform in case you want to access to this knowledge and the next events. And please, in case you have any question, don't hesitate in the chat or just orally now to address us these questions. Finally, we give you also the contacts with all the actors and contributors of today's webinar. So thank you very much to everybody. And in case of any demand, we can still have some minutes to answer your questions.
Xavier, just a small question or proposal. Can I?
Yes. Yes.
Regarding our, let's say, emails and our ideas about certification for students, could be useful to invite also students or potential participants to webinar activities the students from our universities?
Yes, of course, all our university students can participate to the webinars. It would be very good to propose them and to catalyze them to participate, to follow the webinars. We had the case in our university on our side. And also, I remind that all the webinars are saved. And so you will find the videos on the platform, and Julia can confirm that, so that you could share it with further other people. It's an open chair.
Yes, so the recording will be available in the next few days. And you can also follow us on LinkedIn to stay up to date when the recording will be available. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Julia. Thank you very much to all the contributors and the participants. And well, good continuation in this direction, European direction. Goodbye.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.